such a relevant concept. It goes back to the etymology, and I'm a sucker for etymology. It goes back to the root in Old French, 1340, visible, and then to the Latin visibilis, which all means to perceive, to see, to actually see. Do you see what I see? Eventually it resulted into visibility as we know it today. But let's pull it through to the African context. Let's take our own indigenous isiZulu, where we greet each other by saying sawubona, I see you. And how do you respond to that? Ngikhona, until you saw me, I didn't exist. And that is so true. If you don't see me for who I am, for what I am, you don't really see me. Well, we first have to look at the Nedbank language policy. So we've started with inclusivity in the Nedbank language policy last year already during review. We were also notified by Nicolette Dussart at that point that the inclusivity legislation is coming and we have to get our ducks in a row, which we've done. So the language policy, which I'm glad to say has just been approved, it will be published soon, specifically as inclusivity as one of its main mandates. So by inclusivity, what do we mean? We've already included the gender neutral approach. So just to give a practical example of that, we no longer use the clumsy construction of he, she. So if I have a sentence such as a client must bring their identity document to branch, I would not say a client must bring her identity document to branch. Why? Because there are so many more genders that we have to accommodate. So we've started with that. At the moment, we have a very interesting discussion going on because the next step is now including all the different genders or indicating what the different gender in terms of the pronoun could be. So the discourse at the moment is, and it's going to go right up to EXCO level, is are we going to include pronouns in terms of my name, Wena Coetzee, she, her, hers. That will not be obligatory. That will only be for people who then want to include it, especially in cases, to use a practical example once again, if you do not identify with the biological sex and you have a different gender that you want to entrench. So that's a very interesting discussion and we'll see where it leads. Well, the quote that made the greatest impact as far as diversity is concerned is the following, and it's anonymous, so I can't even cite it. But diversity is having a seat at the table, inclusion is having a voice at the table, and then belonging is having the voice heard. And I think that basically sums up what we are trying to accomplish within Nedbank as well. I want to latch onto the campaign that started last year already when we covered our buildings in beautiful colours all over. I know specifically here at Sandown and in the Cape. Beautiful, and it underpinned our mantra as well, which was shine differently. We're all part of the same rainbow. So I really want to stress that. Let's have a colourful Pride Month. Remember, everybody must have a voice. But if you have a voice, make yourself heard as well. Otherwise, silence means consent to the old way of doing things. Enjoy Pride Month.